Chapter 4, Agriculture and Land Development. The agriculture sector, which is the largest employer of workforce, accounted for a sizable 18.8% in gross value added in the year 2021 to 2022 of the country, registering a growth of 3.6% in 2020-21 and 3.9% in 2021 to 22. The net receipts from crop production alone have increased by 22.6% as compared to the previous statistical assessment survey agricultural survey report of 2014. Although there is a visible diversification in the sources of income of the farmers, allied sectors including animal husbandry, dairying, fishing are steadily emerging to be high growth sectors. The livestock sector has grown at a CAGR of 8.15% over the last 5 years, ending 2019-20, as revealed by the latest Situation Assessment Survey. The sector has been a stable source of income across groups of agricultural households, accounting for about 15% of their average monthly income. The government has placed focus on the food processing sector, which is not only a major market of agriculture produce but is also a significant employer of the surplus workforce engaging in agriculture. Government therefore facilitates food processing through various measures of infrastructure development, subsidized transportation and support for formalization of micro-food enterprises. The share of the agriculture and allied sector in total GVA, however, improved to 20.2% in the year 2020-21 and 18.8% in 2021-22. This data from Economic Survey 2021-22. It's not so much important because we covered. Next is Situation Assessment Survey. National Statistical Office NSO, in its 77th round of survey conducted during the period 1st January 2019 to 31st December 2019, carried out a survey on land and livestock holdings of households and situation assessment of agricultural households in the rural areas of India. The report was released in September 2021. The last statistical assessment survey was published in 2014. The statistical assessment survey reports, apart from various other socio-economic aspects of agricultural households, they also reveal insights on their income and its sources. The 2021 report reveals that the average monthly income per agricultural household, as per paid out of expenses approach, works out to be 10,218. The average monthly income per agricultural household was 6,426 as per the last statistical assessment survey report of 2014, estimated by the same approach. Natural farming. The main aim for promotion of natural farming is elimination of chemical fertilizers and pesticides uses and promotion of good agronomic practices. Natural farming also aims to sustain agriculture production with eco-friendly processes in tune with nature to produce agricultural produce free of chemicals. Soil fertility and soil organic matter is restored by natural farming practices. Natural farming systems require less water and are climate friendly. Natural farming in India being promoted through a dedicated scheme of Bharatiya Prakriti Krishi Paddhati Program BPKP. This scheme promotes natural farming in India. Bharatiya Prakratik Krishi Paddhati Program. The scheme promotes on-farm biomass recycling with major stress on biomass mulching, use of on-farm cow dung urine formulation, periodic soil aeration, and exclusion of all synthetic chemical inputs. Livestock sector is an important subsector of agriculture in Indian economy. It grew at a CAGR of 8.15 during 2014 to 15 to 2019 to 20 at constant prices. As per the estimates of National Accounts Statistics 2020, for sector-wise GVA of agriculture and allied services, the contribution of livestock in total agriculture and allied sector has increased from 24.32% to 29.35%. Livestock sector contributed 4.35% of total GVA in 2019-20. Dairy sector. According to the Economic Survey 2021-22, dairy is the single largest agricultural commodity, contributing 5% of the national economy and employing more than 8 crore farmers directly. India is ranked first in milk production, contributing 23% of global milk production. Milk production in the country has grown at a compound annual growth rate about 6.2% to reach 209.96 million tons in 2020 to 21 from 146.31 million tons in 2014-15. The all India per capita availability of milk is 427 grams per day in 2020-21 provisionally. So dairy sector also grown. Okay. Fisheries. India is a first in dairy sector and second in fisheries, fish production. Okay. India is the second largest fish producing country in the world, accounting for 7.56% of global production. It contributes about 1.24% to the country's GVA and over 7.28% to the agricultural GVA. Fisheries sector has demonstrated an outstanding double-digit average annual growth of 10.87% since 2014-15, with record fish production of 145 lakh tons in FY 2020 to 21. In terms of employment, the sector supports the livelihood of over 28 million people in India, especially the marginalized and vulnerable communities. Exports earning from the fisheries sector was 46,662.85 crore during 2019-20. The government launched a new flagship scheme of 20,050 crore called Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana in May 2022 as a part of the ANB package under PMMSY. Key interventions include enhancing fish production and productivity, modernizing and straightening the value chain, creating fisheries and post-harvest infrastructure, and developing robust fisheries management and regulatory framework. Under the scheme, integrated management of public distribution system, which was started during 2018-19 and 2019-20, one nation, one ration card system has been launched. The validity of the scheme has been extended to 2023 from the existing 2022. Through this system, migratory beneficiaries shall be able to access their food security entitlements from any fair price shop of their choice by using their same ration card after biometric Aadhaar authentication on electronic point of sale devices at the FPS fair price shopsmen. The government has now set 20% ethanol blending target for mixing ethanol with petrol to be achieved by 2025. It is estimated that the blending target at 10% would be achieved during 2022. With a view to achieve these targets, government has allowed production of ethanol from different feedstocks, BHY, CHY, molasses, cane juice, sugar syrups, sugar and damaged fruit grains, including surplus FCI rice, maize, etc. by the distillery either attached with sugar mills or standalone. Now we will read स्वीट रिवोल्यूशन। अभी तक हमने क्या देखा है? अभी तक हमने देखा एग्रीकल्चर के बारे में कि एग्रीकल्चर और उसके आंकड़े देखे हमने। उसके बाद हमने नेचुरल फार्मिंग देखा कि नेचुरल फार्मिंग कैसे होता है, उसके बारे में हमने जाना। उसके बाद हमने देखा हमारा डेयरी सेक्टर इंडिया फर्स्ट नंबर पे है, फिशरीज सेक्टर इंडिया सेकंड नंबर पर है। अब हम स्वीट रिवोल्यूशन के बारे में देख रहे हैं कि स्वीट रिवोल्यूशन क्या है। Keeping in view the importance of beekeeping as of the integrated farming system in the country, government approved the allocation of ₹500 crore for National Beekeeping and Honey Mission for 3 years 2020-21 to 2022-23. The mission was announced as a part of ANB scheme NBHM for the overall promotion and development of scientific beekeeping in the country to achieve the goal of sweet revolution, which is being implemented through National Bee Board. Total 45 projects for the of 88.87 crores have been approved for funding under NBHM 2021 तक इतना हमें अप्रूव्ड हो चुकी है। 88.87 करोड़ रुपए की अप्रूवमेंट मिल चुका है अंडर NBHS स्कीम। Beekeeping is an agro-based activity which is being undertaken by farmers, landless laborers in rural area as a part of the IFS. India's export of honey has increased by about 110% between 2013-14 to 2019-20. So it's a large percentage, 110% इंक्रीज़ हुआ है हमारा बी हनी का एक्सपोर्ट। सो बी कीपिंग is a very crucial activity. Now this is important and यहाँ से क्वेश्चन पूछे जाते हैं तो हम इसे अच्छे से पढ़ते हैं। कॉफ़ी बोर्ड है हमारा बेंगलुरु में कर्नाटका में। कॉफ़ी एक्ट है हमारा 1942 का। रबर बोर्ड है हमारा केरला में कोटायम। रबर एक्ट है हमारा 1947 का। टी बोर्ड है हमारा कलकत्ता वेस्ट बंगाल में। टी एक्ट है हमारा 1953 का। टोबैको बोर्ड गुंटूर आंध्र प्रदेश में है और टोबैको एक्ट है हमारा 1975 का। स्पाइसेस बोर्ड है हमारा कोची केरला में, इसका एक्ट है 1986 का। नेशनल मीट एंड पोल्ट्री प्रोसेसिंग बोर्ड है हमारा दिल्ली में और इसका एक्ट हमारा है 2008 का। इंडियन ग्रे प्रोसेसिंग बोर्ड हमारा पुणे महाराष्ट्र में है, जो कि 2009 में इसका एक्ट का डेट लिखा है, या ये बोर्ड बना था ये मान सकते हैं हम। तो हम अगर रिकॉल करें तो हमारा कॉफ़ी बोर्ड होगा हमारा कर्नाटका बेंगलुरु में और इसका एक्ट है 1942 का। रबर बोर्ड होगा हमारा केरला का और इसका एक्ट है हमारा 1947 का। टी बोर्ड हमारा होगा कोलकाता का और इसका एक्ट है हमारा 1953 का। टोबैको बोर्ड गुंटूर आंध्र प्रदेश, इसका एक्ट है हमारा 1975 का। स्पाइसेस बोर्ड हमारा केरला में है। केरला में हमारे दो बोर्ड हैं, एक तो स्पाइसेस बोर्ड एंड रबर बोर्ड, दोनों केरला में है। एक कोची में आपका स्पाइसेस बोर्ड है और कोट्टायम में आपका रबर बोर्ड है। मीट एंड पोल्ट्री, ये तो आपको याद रहेगा, दिल्ली में एक है मीट एंड पोल्ट्री। टी आएगा अगर तो टी एंड कॉफ़ी में कन्फ्यूजन हो सकता है, अगर टी आएगा तो हमें कोलकाता रखना है, अगर कॉफ़ी आएगा तो हमें बेंगलुरु कर्नाटक रखना है। एंड रबर और स्पाइसेस आपको याद हो गया कि केरला में है। सो इंडियन ग्रेप प्रोसेसिंग बोर्ड भी पुणे महाराष्ट्र में है। आगे चलते हैं। Importance of agriculture in the national economy is indicated by many facts. Example, agriculture is the main support for India's transport system, secure of their business from the movement of agricultural goods. तो ट्रांसपोर्ट में भी क्या है, एग्रीकल्चरल गुड्स का जो ट्रांसपोर्ट होता है वह हमारे लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। इंटरनल ट्रेड इज़ मोस्टली इन एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोडक्ट्स। एग्रीकल्चरल ग्रोथ हैज़ डायरेक्ट इम्पैक्ट ऑन पॉवर्टी इरेडिकेशन. इट इज़ आल्सो एन इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्टर इन कंटेनिंग inflation, raising agricultural wages and employment generation. Besides the allied sectors like horticulture, animal husbandry, dairy and fisheries have an important role in improving the overall economic conditions and nutrition of the rural masses. To maintain the ecological balance, there is need for sustainable and balanced development of both agriculture and allied sectors. Commercial crops are those crops which are produced for trade purpose and not for self-consumption by the farmers. It includes oilseeds crops, sugar crops, fiber crops, narcotic crops and beverage crops. To encourage the agricultural products, the government announced the minimum support price for important agriculture crops. The function of Agriculture Cost and Price Commission (ACPC) is to decide the minimum support price on behalf of the government. Minimum support price announced by the government is that price at which government is ready to purchase the crop from the farmers directly if crop price fall below the MSP. The government has hiked the minimum support price of kharif crops for marketing season 2021-22 with a view to ensuring remunerative prices to the farmers for their produce. The increase in MSP for kharif crops for marketing season 2020-21 is in line with the Union Budget 2018-19 announcement on fixing the MSP at a level of at least 1.5 times of all India weighted average cost of production. Been at a record high. About 49.16 lakh farmers have already been benefited from the ongoing wheat procurement operation with MSP value of 85,483.25 crore. Food inflation. Headline CPI inflation averaged 6.6% in 2020-21 and stood at 4.6% in December 2020, mainly driven by rise in food inflation, which has increased from 6.7% in 2019-20 to 9.1% in 2020-21, owing to build-up in vegetable prices. Food grain production. As per the fourth advance estimates for 2017-18, total food grain production in the country is estimated at 284.83 million tons, which is higher by 24.66 million tons than the previous 5-year एवरेज फूड ग्रेन प्रोडक्शन. नेशनल फूड सिक्योरिटी एक्ट हमारा 2013 का है. ऑब्जेक्टिव है इसका टू प्रोवाइड फूड एंड न्यूट्रिशनल सिक्योरिटी इन ह्यूमन लाइफ साइकिल by ensuring access to adequate quantity of quality food at affordable prices to the people to live a life with dignity. The Act, notified on 2013, provides for coverage of up to 75% of the rural population and up to 50% of the urban population for receiving subsidized food grain under TPDS targeted public distribution system, thus covering about 2/3 of the population. The Act also lays special focus on nutritional support to women and children. The credit of Green Revolution in India is given to the agriculture scientist Dr. Norman Borlaug. However, the contribution of Dr. M.S. Swaminathan is not less, but its term name is the contribution of American scientific Dr. William Gantt. Speedy increase in the field of milk production is called White Revolution. To increase the pace of White Revolution, the Operation Flood was started. The father of Operation Flood was Dr. Verghese Kurian. The Operation Flood was the largest integrated dairy development program of the world. It was started by National Dairy Development Board in 1970. The increase in oilseed production was due to Yellow Revolution. The progress in increase of fish production was called Blue Revolution. The percentage of plan outlay on agriculture and allied sectors to total plan outlay varied between 31% and 14.9% from the first plan to 10th plan. Actual outlay on the agricultural sector ranged between 18 to 24% of the total plan outlay. During 11th plan 2007 to 2012, the plan outlay on agriculture has declined to only 18.5%. During the first decade of planning, when the first and second 5-year plans were implemented, the annual rate of growth in agriculture was 3.3%. During the 11th plan period, the average of annual growth rate of GDP 3.7% has been achieved in agricultural and allied sectors. This is short of target of 4%, but is better than the achievement of 2.4% in the 10th plan. The 10th plan was the first plan which did not fix targets of crop production. Green Revolution did not cover barley, ragi, and minor millets. The Green Revolution was confined only to high-yielding varieties, mainly rice, wheat, maize, and jowar. National Agriculture Insurance Scheme was implemented in October 1999. Land reform programs in India include elimination of intermediates, tenancy reform, determination of selling of holding per family, distribution of surplus land among landless people, consolidation of holdings, चकबंदी. So these are the things जो लैंड रिफॉर्म में इंक्लूडेड है. इंटरमीडिएटरीज का एलिमिनेशन मीन्स जो मध्यस्थ होते थे हमारे उनको हटाना. एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ सरप्लस लैंड अमंग लैंडलेस पीपल, ये तो आप समझ रहे होंगे. चकबंदी, चकबंदी और सीलिंग क्या होता है, यानी एक तरीके से जैसे भूमि जो होती है कृषि भूमि वो बंटती जाती है अपने पिता से पुत्रों में, तो उसका एक मेजरमेंट फिक्स करना कि इससे ज़्यादा हम भूमि को विभाजित नहीं करेंगे, तो वो सीलिंग है हमारी भूमि की. और हमारी दूर दूर वाली भूमि को एक साथ लाना यानी एक जगह खरीदना, तो वो हमारा चकबंदी से रिलेटेड है. By the end of first 5-year plan, middlemen had been removed, except small areas. The following measures were made effective for the betterment of farmers: regulation of tax, security for the rights of farmers, right of land ownership for the farmers, for the reorganization of agricultural land holding. Mainly two measures were taken: land ceiling and chakbandi. Land ceiling determines the maximum land which can be held by a farmer. Holding more than that area will be illegal. सील कर दिया कि इससे ज़्यादा अधिक मात्रा में आप लोग नहीं रख सकते. चकबंदी ऑफ लैंड मीन्स टू एग्रीगेट द डिवाइडेड एंड ब्रोकन लैंड, उन्हें जोड़ना. चकबंदी. द लैंड विद इन एरिया लेस देन 1 hectare इज कॉल्ड मार्जिनल लैंड होल्डिंग. 1 to 4 hectare area is called small land holding, and the land within area more than 4 hectare is called large land holding. Chakbandi was implemented first time in India in year 1920 in Baroda. M.S. Swaminathan, Indian geneticist and international administrator, renowned for his leading role in India's Green Revolution, while Norman E. Borlaug is called father of Green Revolution in the world. Green Revolution was started in the third 5-year plan. The most positive effect of Green Revolution was on wheat. There was 500% increase in crop production. Unorganized sources of agricultural finance are money lenders, money dealers, relatives, businessmen, landholders, commissions agent. Organized sources of agriculture finance are cooperatives, communities, cooperative banks, commercial banks, regional rural banks and the government. फाइनेंस यानी जो एग्रीकल्चर है उसको वित्त कौन देगा उस पर निर्भर है. उसकी एक तो होता है ऑर्गेनाइज्ड एंड अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सोर्स. अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सोर्स में आएंगे हमारा जो बिचौलिए होते हैं वो लोग आएंगे, जैसे कि मनी लेंडर्स हुए, साहूकार हुए, ये सब आते हैं. ऑर्गेनाइज्ड सोर्स में हमारे आएंगे कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स वगैरह. कोऑपरेटिव सहकारी जो हमारा होता है, जिसमें कोऑपरेटिव क्रेडिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन started first time in 1904. Primary cooperative committees provide credit for short period. State cooperative agriculture and rural development banks provide credit for long period. Land Development Bank was established in the year 1990 in the form of Land Mortgage Bank. Land Development Bank provides long-term loans. National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development (NABARD) is the apex institution of rural credit. It was established on 12th July 1982 by the merger of Agriculture Credit Department and Reconstruction of Agriculture and Development Corporation of the Reserve Bank of India. Its establishment is based on the recommendation of Shivaraman Committee. Authorized share capital of NABARD was Rupee 500 crore. However, after an amendment, its authorized share increased up to 5,000 crore with effect from 1 February 2000. 1. Further, a bill, the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development Amendment Bill 2070, to increase its authorized capital by 6 times to rupee 30,000 crore and enable exit of Reserve Bank of India was passed in January 2018.